بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهد الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله بلغ رسالة وأدى الأمانة ونصح الأمة وجاهد في الله حق جهاده إمام المجاهدين وخاتم الأنبياء والمرسلين وصلوات الله وسلامه عليه. قال الله سبحانه وتعالى في كتابه الكريم بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. أما بعد قال الله سبحانه وتعالى في كتابه الكريم بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم أرأيت الذي يكذب بالدين فذلك الذي يدعو اليتيم ولا يحض على طعام المسكين فويل للمصلين الذين هم عن صلاتهم ساهون الذين هم يراءون ويمنعون الماعون. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Al-Ma'un, have you seen the one who disbelieves in the reckoning or in religion itself? فَذَلِكَ الَّذِي يَدْعُ الْيَتِيمِ. So he is the one, or that is the one who abandons the orphan. وَلَا يَحُضُّ عَلَى طَعَامِ الْمِسْكِينِ. And he doesn't go and present food to those who are poor. فَوَيْلٌ لِلْمُصَلِّينَ. So woe to the one who then prays. الَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنْ صَلَاتِهِمْ سَاهُونَ. Those who when they pray their minds are heedless or they are far away from their prayer. الَّذِينَ هُمْ يُرَاءُونَ. Again those who also they just want to be seen by other people. وَيَمْنَعُونَ الْمَاعُونَ. And they keep stingy from themselves from giving small things to others. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala starts in this ayah and initially addressing the Muslims and the non-Muslims. He says, have you seen the one who disbelieves in the day of reckoning? Or have you seen the one who doesn't believe in a religion, more likely in the day of reckoning? Meaning this person doesn't believe that he will be held to account. This person doesn't believe that whatever he carries with him in this world of good deeds is what will be his justification for his life in this earth. What you have in this world, what you have done in this world, what you've accumulated of your actions and statements and so on, all of this is what you will have on your behalf to argue in front of Allah that you deserve His mercy. That you have done something that deserves Him to have forgiveness on you. So this is the one who therefore doesn't believe that this will take place. He doesn't believe that he will stand before Allah and have something that will defend him from his punishment. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then describes this person. Then describes the one who feels that he is not going to be held account. Or who thinks in some level that he will not be held to account. What does he say? He says that he is the one who abandons the orphan. He is the one who abandons the orphan. Meaning that this person doesn't take care of an orphan. This person, if an orphan was made known to him that this person is this child or this boy or girl is an orphan, he would just abandon them. He has no care for them. He doesn't take out time to find out where they are. He doesn't take out time to find out which of them he can foster care or adopt. He just abandons them, is no concern in his life. And then the second statement that describes this person is that he is the one who doesn't present food to those who are poor. Look at the statement. He is the one who doesn't present food to those who are poor. Not that he makes it available. Not that he says in his household, this is part of my income for those who are poor. Not that he says this is a portion of my wealth that I give in charity. But he physically doesn't go and present food to those who are poor. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala used these two descriptions to define the one who doesn't believe in the hereafter. Who doesn't believe that he'll be held to account. So let us pause at this point before we continue to ask ourselves, are we fitting this description or not? Are we fitting this description of one who doesn't truly believe in the hereafter or not? So therefore the two answers would be, am I taking care of an orphan? Am I aware of the orphanages in Manchester? Am I aware of the orphan projects that I can support? Am I aware of those people who live in Manchester who have become orphaned? Am I aware of their plight? Am I aware of their needs? Am I aware of where they live? That's the first question we should ask ourselves. The second question then comes is, how often or do I ever go out of my way, prepare food, and then present it or give it to someone who's in need? Whether I invite them to my house, or I go to where they are and I give them to eat. I give them food because they're in a less fortunate state than me. Do I go out and do I engage in this? Or if I don't go out and do this, do I at least support the one who does it? Say I'm busy in my work, but there's someone who's going, and he makes it known to me. Do I give him some provision so he can go and do this on my behalf? If the answer to both of those is no, then you fit the description, quite simply. If the answer to both of these is no, then you fit the description of one who doesn't truly believe that he will be held to account. One who doesn't truly believe that he will go to the day of reckoning, and whatever good deeds you have, that will be what protects you. Why is that the case? Because if you truly had in your heart that you will be held in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the only thing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala cares about is a good deed that you have done, then you would at least go and find any good deed that you could do. And whether for the religiously knowledgeable or not knowledgeable, whether man or child, man or woman, the most clearest and most obvious two groups of people that you can help and do a good deed towards is the one who's miskeen and the one who's an orphan. You will not find on the face of this earth anyone who says, don't help the needy and don't take care of the orphan. Did you ever find in your life anyone who is so senseless and so idiotic that he said you don't take care of the orphan and you don't support the needy? Every person, Muslim, non-Muslim, Christian, Jew, non-religion, atheist, everyone agrees that this is a universal good deed. Therefore, nobody will hold you back from it. Nobody will say to you, don't go and do it. Everyone will agree that what you are doing is a good thing. So therefore, it's part of the human psyche, it's a part of the human fitrah, the human nature, that you should help someone who's an orphan, and you should help someone who's poor. So if you're not doing that, then ask yourself, why is it that I'm living? Muhammad Ali, he famously once said that your space in this world has a rent to be paid, and that rent is your service to your community. Your space in this world, where you live, the house you live, the places you walk on, all of that has a rent that needs to be paid. And that rent that you will pay for this is your service to others. Is you're going and helping another person. Is you're taking care of another person. And the Prophet ﷺ said that every day that the sun rises over the earth, there's a charity to be paid on every joint in your body. Every single joint in your body, so 1, 2, 3, 4, count all the joints in your body. Every joint has a sadaqah that has to be paid. Whether you give that monetary, so that's however much you give, that is one sadaqah that you gave that frees one joint. And what's it freeing it from? He said it frees it from Jahannam. You free your body every single day from Jahannam by doing a charity. Another thing he said, there's a charity that you help a person in need. Even if it be as little as helping him get on his camel, or helping him put his luggage onto his camel. So the least thing that you can do is if you see somebody who's gone shopping or something, you help them put their food in the car. Or somebody who's difficult to get onto their seat, like an older uncle or auntie, you help them sit onto their seat. That is the least form, or that is one of the basic examples of helping somebody out. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continued, saying that this kind of person, when he stands up to pray, his prayer is heedless. That he has no concentration in prayer. Why? Because he has no thought of what this prayer is going to lead to. And then he continues and says that this is a kind of person that even if he does something good, he's only doing good to be seen by others. So it's not the case that he goes and takes care of the poor or the orphan secretly in his own time through the internet, we're going to give to charity, or away from the people's eyes, or in a different village so people can't see him. He does it, and he wants all the Twitter and the Facebook and the photos and all the journalists to be around him. To say, look, I did this good deed. Come with me so you can see me doing all of these good deeds. So ask yourself, even if you do something good, is it your case that you want everybody to know about it? Or are you doing it simply out of goodness to another person? On this point, I wanted to elaborate towards the end of the khutbah. That stop for a moment and look at where you live. look at the local surroundings around you. And as someone who's done some research over the past few weeks into the issues of homelessness and child homelessness and otherwise, it is shocking the level of poverty that exists in the UK. If I was to tell you the figures of 1.8 million children living in poverty in the UK, you would be shocked. 1.8 million children either lived in homes that are described as being overly cramped, or they live on a provision that is less than what is the basics of any other person. Their parents are unable to provide, the children are too young to work, and therefore they live their day on perhaps 1 or maybe 2 meals a day. And when I say a meal, I don't mean biryani and raita and everything else on the side. I mean basic meals in a day. They live on this every single day. Why is child poverty an issue? Because it's hidden by the council. It's hidden by the local government. Because they don't want to let everybody know that they're doing a bad job. A second form of poverty is what all of you may be aware of, whether it's rough sleeping or those who live in their homes with very little other than to pay for their shelter. And this are again thousands of people who fit into this category. But the most visible form of it is what they call rough sleeping. Rough sleeping. Rough sleeping, by us who would describe it, we would say that a person who is rough sleeping is someone who sleeps outside. Anyone who sleeps outside is a rough sleeper, meaning he's just sleeping on the street or in a bush shelter or something like that. But the issue is so severe that our local councils, and I'm talking about Manchester Council, quite openly and frankly, it is their ambition to make this figure as low as possible. To make this figure look as least as possible. Why? Because the government gives them additional grants and bursaries and bonuses for having a low figure of homelessness. So here's their description of somebody who's homeless. They say a person who's homeless is someone who sleeps horizontally on the side of a highway without any cover above him. So stop yourself and ask the question, as they define as well. If somebody sleeps in a bus shelter, is he homeless? Not according to the local council. If somebody sleeps in a doorway, is he homeless? Not according to the local council. If somebody sleeps with his back against a bush outside, is he homeless? Not according to the local council. If somebody sleeps in a park on a bench, is he homeless? Not according to the local council. Now ask yourself, how many people are in need in the city? And even on this figure, the council say that if a person is in this state, he may be available to what is called as priority care. Priority care is what is given to a person who is in such a bad state that he must be sheltered and taken care of immediately. Now, what is the conditions for somebody to receive priority care? They didn't say that he's worse than the average person. They didn't say that he's homeless. They said that he's in a worse condition than the average homeless person. He's in a worse condition than the average homeless person. So then they went on to describe who is the average homeless person. They say the average homeless person is addicted to alcohol. He's addicted to drugs. He suffers severe depression and he suffers mental illness. So if you're addicted to alcohol, you're addicted to drugs, you have severe depression, and you have a mental illness, then you're not actually in priority care. You're just the average homeless person. You're not really in need of being taken care of. You're not really in concern for the council. You're just the average homeless person. If you get worse than this, then they say, well, this person is in such an unstable mental case that he cannot possibly make an application. And if he cannot make an application, then we don't have to consider him. This is not out in some foreign country. This is in Manchester, dear brothers and sisters. This is here in Manchester. This is on behalf of those people who take your council tax every week or year, and they say that we're taking care of issues in your city. And they sell you false figures year after year, month after month, just to make you say, well, people are taken by the social taken care of by the social welfare system here in Manchester. Everyone, if you speak to one of our elder brothers or sisters, they say, well, why should I care? They're taken care of by the government. But if you stop for a minute and ask yourself, if you lost your house immediately for any given reason, and you were left out on the street, would the council take care of you? No, they wouldn't. Because you still have mental faculty, you're not addicted to drugs, you don't drink alcohol, and you're not in an unstable mental state. Therefore, our local council has no need to take care of you in any case. That's a sobering thought for any person in this room right now. And then ask yourself the question, what about all those other cases in Manchester? What about all those other types of people who don't fit into this? What about those people who can only pay to cover their heads at night and they can't provide food during the day? Those people who barely get by in this community. And then look at all of the issues of the economic meltdown, about the laying off of workers, about redundancies and things like that. And then ask yourself, how much of a growing problem is this? And once you've done that, then ask yourself, are you truly believing in the hereafter? Are you taking care of those children who are in need? Or are you going and presenting food to these people who have become poor, even in this city? أقول قولي هذا أستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. أما بعد. It is a duty of every single Muslim wherever he is that he stands up for those who are weak, that he stands up for those who are in a difficult condition, that he takes care of those who are in a less fortunate state than him. And I see it as my duty in this city, and as your duty in this city, as a person who believes that they will be held to account, as a person who is his moral foundation to be good and kind to others, to go out of his way and sacrifice for the benefit of others. And as I made mention narrations in the last khutbah about the one who gave somebody to drink and so he was saved from Jahannam, about the one who gave and went and helped someone and so he was saved from Jahannam. But all of this should not be needed, dear brothers and sisters. I shouldn't need to stand here and narrate hadith after hadith to prove it to you religiously. Because each of us should be human enough to see that suffering and to feel that pain. When you go home and you see your young brothers and sisters, or you see your sons and daughters, or your nieces and nephews, and they come to you and say, mother, father, uncle, auntie, can you get me this iPad? And you say to yourself, do you know what? I haven't got enough to buy you an iPad right now. And how bad do you feel at that? How upset you feel just because you can't make them smile over, the latest bit of tech that you think that they'd enjoy. Then look again at a person, a mother or father, who looks at their son and daughter and says, let me put you to bed because we have no food tonight. This is the people that we need to help, dear brothers and sisters. And as a member in this community and working with others who are aware and are able to help in this situation, I've agreed with Brother Saeed that over the coming weeks here at Cheadle Masjid, we'll be doing collections for warm items so that we can give them to the homeless here in Manchester, regardless of faith, just to help those who are in need. And so those who are able to donate hats, warm gloves, scarves, socks, things of those nature, we ask you to come and give it to the masjid. Please don't give those things that have holes and things in them that you don't want to wear. But give that thing that you would like to wear, but it's a spare thing for you. Or if you wish to go get some and bring it here to the masjid so we can give them out. Because it's about time, dear brothers and sisters, that we ourselves started believing that we will be held to account. نسأل الله عز وجل أن ينفعنا ولمتنا اللهم زدنا علما اللهم لا تدع لنا ذنبا إلا غفرته ولا مريضا إلا شافيته ولا هما إلا فرجته ولا طالبا إلا نجحته ولا دينا إلا قضيته ولا دينا إلا قضيته ولا دينا إلا قضيته اللهم اهدنا فيمن هديت وعافنا فيمن عافيت وتولنا فيمن توليت وبارك لنا فيما أعطيت وبارك لنا فيما أعطيت وبارك لنا فيما أعطيت واصرف عنا شر ما قضيت فإنك تقضي ولا يقضى عليك إنه لا يذل من واليت ولا يعز من عاديت تباركت ربنا وتعاليت وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. قوموا لصلاتكم.